Hi and welcome everyone. This is Lavender Sky Panther. Today is Friday, July 16th, 2021, and today's topic is called Skies Rising, and skies is in quotes. It's a collection of images and sky observations happening July 8th through the 11th, 2021, and this is called part 1 because there was so much happening in the skies lately, can hardly keep up, and I didn't want to put all the images into one massive show, so I decided to put it into a part 1 and part 2 for today. Skies is in quotes on this one for many reasons, but also because apparently in Old English, clouds meant skies. Skies meant clouds, rather. So I thought that was pretty interesting. All right, now here is an alternate cover slide. I like the color ranges in this, but decided to go with the other one, see which one you like better, or if you like them both equally. Now, the starter image of the day is going to be a combination of the welcome words. Hold on. Sorry about that. Words, wisdom, and spirit of the day pages. So I'd like to say good day, osio, how, buongiorno, guten tag, kia ora, jambo, kedu, buenos dias, bonjour, ni hao, dzień dobry, konnichiwa, dobrohonya, annyeonghaseyo, botarji, dobry den, aloha winala, kalimera, hurenda, and good day. So the starter cards I just pulled from Daily Crystal Inspiration Oracle deck again. And we've got Aquamarine, which is the message of go with the flow. You are like water, unstoppable. Some healing metaphysical properties of it are that it can help enrich immunity by opening the flow between heart and throat energy centers, can help alleviate sinus and lung issues. Hold on again. Sorry, my voice is shot today. I've been talking too much. It can also help bolster courage and communication and have a calming effect. Now, with Moonstone, the message is live your purpose. I walk my path with purpose. The healing metaphysical properties are that it can help the digestive and reproduction organs, enhance psychic abilities, and promote inner growth and strength, and more. So, like I say with these things, these are just guides of what these things can do with their frequencies. But you can also get tremendous healing if it calls to you, just if you find a rock, pebble, or stone on a riverbed or a beach or in a park. If just something calls to you and resonates with you, their frequency, the frequency of whatever you pick up, if it's with your frequency, can also do wonders as well. So just go by feel on these things is my little tip of the day. All right, now we're going to get into the sky observation portion of the show. So whether you're new or returning to this channel, welcome, and thank you so much for being here. If you're returning, you may want to skip this bit. If you're new, stick around. I'm just going to cover just some basics of what I'm doing here. So I just take pictures wherever I go. Mostly lately it's, over the skies of Miami. And I'm noticing anomalies, strangeness, things that just don't match up from decades past of what's happening in the skies. I've noticed a tremendous increase of strange stuff happening with our skies in the last 3 years in particular, but certainly ranging all the way back to 2012. Now, what I'm going to do is drop in some letters just to help keep focus, because on some of these slides there's so much going on. I'm just grabbing whatever jumped out at me as highlights to talk about them. If I miss something and you want to see it covered in a future show, just let me know in the comment section below. Now, you're going to see strange cloud and quotes activity at the bottom of these. Cloud and quotes just means I suspect that there's cloaking craft going on in the skies for very good reasons if you look at some of my previous shows. Now, the cloud material itself I'm referring to as a cloaking material of plasma. That's just going to be my go-to, and plasma refers to something heavier than water vapor, something that is denser, that can hang around in the skies longer and, does well to cloak things. When I say craft, it can be an object or instrumentation or an actual craft that is more than likely of ET origin, extraterrestrial or advanced technology. I say that just because of some of the scale is just so massive of some of the things that I'm seeing, and the intricacies and complexities of how it might be cloaking just seem to be beyond the human grasp. Now, that doesn't mean there isn't human tech involved or collaboration involved, by military or whatnot. But again, I'm going to say predominantly what I'm looking at is ET in origin. Now, I'm also looking at stuff that's supernatural in origin, like this thing coming through. I'll refer to it as like an air elemental or sky wisp. And I cover, what I think about these on a previous show or previous shows. Now, when I talk about the craft, it can be 3D, like three-dimensional, something hard and tactile. You could theoretically walk up and touch and knock on it. It could be something interdimensional, something very phantom-like that phases, it looks very ghost-like, or it can be something 3D that's phasing in and out of state, at the time that we catch it in the photo. And again, it could be something supernatural, something far beyond our understanding at the moment. Anyway, let's, also I'll be catching color signatures that are very different. When you see red and pinks pop up, do see my description box below on what that could be. All right, so we're going to look at the enhanced version of this thing. And when I say enhanced, I'm just editing attributes of the photo. So, you know, playing around with the color, saturation, brightness, and contrast. I don't know if I mentioned that already. Sorry, it's like multiple times I've been trying to get this show recorded and out. So I don't know if I repeated myself. Anyhow, we're looking at this and we see this like blurred form here. We see these distinct shapes here and here. You know, again, this is a totally different animal, so to speak, than this, but yet they're both directly in the same vicinity and altitude. So what the heck is going on, right? We got weird texture popping up over here, little bright highlights of things happening. You know, let's just take a closer look at this. So we're going to look at those little elements down at the bottom, standalone things, and we've got concentric arcs that are parallel. We've got a little stick-like shape popping out of what is this like cloaking cluster looks like. This looks like a standalone shape too, with even a vapor trail coming down if you look at the trajectory of this, and it's happening here too. And you know, this is a very different character of thing than these things, and even down here, straight line. And then we get this jagged shape up here and this burst of energy happening here. Weird texture happening here. You know, I could go on, but I'm not going to. So here's the enhanced version. Just think about what I said and now look at this image. So we got a straight line here. And again, just all kinds of stuff going on here. Okay, now this side by side, I'm going to kind of fly through this series because this really does invite you to, to give it more attention on your own time when you have more time. But if this is a stick or a void on the right-hand side, I can't tell. But this is coming down on this angle. This is coming on this angle. Something strange is happening in here. These look like different animals altogether. So what I'm going to say here is when you see this choppy activity, I call that staccato cloud. Usually there's a more massive blanket of it above, and it's all choppy and fuzzy to the human eye. And to me, that's not HARP technology out of Alaska or something similar. This is cloak and craft, either something far above the blanket or here local, that generates these energy waves outward. So whether it's electromagnetic wave activity or some other kind of frequency, I don't know what it is. But I do know that it creates something choppy, very local. So let's look at this, zoom in a bit, and with enhancement. And, again, we start to see a lot of different things going on here. Actually, I'm going to go into one more enhancement level. Look at this. So we've got a very straight edge at D.1, and then we have this like ends of pipes. It looks like 1, 2, 3 ends of pipes clustered around one bigger pipe, and a very straight edge. So I think that's a craft coming in this way. You even see kind of some movement here. C.1, this is a straight edge, a triangular shape, like a stick going beyond, and this looks symmetrical with two things on it. So I'm going to say that's of intelligent design, no question about it. And then we got something weird, very distinct popping up here, something here. Look at this. This is a right angle that does not happen in a cloud formation. So all of this, there's just, whether this is all one thing or separate pieces, I don't know. Now if you follow my cursor, this is even a perfect circle, so this overall thing is something cloaking even beyond that. See what you think is going on in that scene. Okay, now we're going to look to the southeast, and we have this object at A. We're going to look at in more detail, and also B. This actually looks like the front of something. Let me go to the enhanced version. So B looks like the front of a ship, maybe, with two wings coming out to the sides. That looks like a triangle to me. I don't know what's going on here. Let's check out A. Zoom in a little bit more. I see etched triangles here. Let's go here. I don't get too much more, but I do get that we've got something bent up, looks almost metallic. That doesn't happen in a natural cloud system. What I do for cloud play, what I see is the front of a head of a boar. So with the tusk and the snout and the mouth and the ears, just for fun. But what that is, I don't know, but I know that it has advanced design in there, advanced tech. All right, this gets very interesting. We got a long straight line here, but weird staccato stuff, line here. Even without enhancement, that looks like a pipe with an end to it. That's all I'm going to say, hands down. That's intelligent design. Look at it. That's something with structure. This looks like a spoiler or like the fluke of a whale popping up here with the trail behind it. So this whole thing looks like the deck, the top of like a military ship to me. This is a very straight edge. Look at this. This is either pieces of a command deck emerging or like a gunner, that goes off this way. Straight edge, more or less straight and parallel here with little bits and pieces happening on here. So I'm telling you, I just see this as the deck of the bow of the ship would be here, the stern back here. See what you see though. Okay, we're going to go down to what I was calling the bow area of this, and then we see other things emerging with straight lines, little things popping up, little thing, standalone thing down here at E. You know, with enhancement you see it better. What are these little streaks coming across? That's no natural cloud form either. Then we get to this scene, looking north-northwest. This is rising up this way. It looks like a plume of smoke or trail coming up behind this overall thing, whatever the heck that is. There's a groove here that's absolutely a perpendicular form, which doesn't happen in a natural cloud. Then we have this, which looks like a craft hovering. Oh, hold on one second. Okay, I'm back. Craft kind of perched on the profile of this artificial-looking cloud. Do see my previous shows, like on Rim Watching 2, things like that, that show craft perched on the top, and then I even have evidence of them like coming and going. A B, it looks like something's going on up here, so let's look with enhancement. And we lose C because of the enhancement, but we have like a triangular shape on top of a line. And then, you know, again, what is this? It looks like something's flying in or out of there also, the more we look at it. Then we go to the C element, and that looks like a craft. You know, these are very precise grooves and lines with shadows and stuff. This might be a separate little craft popping up off of it, but it has rigid structures in there if you really look. Structural patterns, actually. And then all of this, the way it's fraying out, looks like an artificial cloud. We put more enhancement on it. We can see little bits and pieces that look like objects popping out. That's looking more and more craft-like by the second with something flying off of it. And then we get to this view of this like supernatural looking element. Let's just go straight to the enhancement. And here we go. You know, is it made of little individual pieces or is just this overall one thing? I have no idea. This is looking very interesting at 8.1. And then we're going to look at other views of these things. So, and then we look at here, we've got some structure, texture. Again, we had looked at this before, and with these little elements at C. We're looking at them later in time though, so let's see how they morph and change, if they do. And we see, you know, the arrangements of these things are a little different now. What this is, it just looks like it's flying in down this way. I'm not sure. These little elements start to look very interesting and look like they have design to them. Then we're going to go down on this element again where we saw this like texture showing up. And this too starts to get really interesting at E.2. Look at E.3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can count these regularized holes that look like that they're the end. That looks like they're edges of pipes actually. So what does that? That's structure. That's designed elements. And then we have this. You know, it's looking really strange up here. I start to see the point of like a pointed ellipse here. Something strange happening here. Something weird happening up here too. See what you think is going on in this scene. All right, this gets weird. So now we're looking away from that, what we just looked at, toward the west now. We're looking, you know, south, and now we're looking southwest. So look at these streaks. What are these things doing? You know, that's not natural cloud. So we look with enhancement, and I'm still not any clearer on what's going on other than this. This looks definitely like it's designed. Look at this straight edge all the way down here. And then we have, what do I want to say? Then we have this thing that looks like a craft with cloaking in front of it. So again, what do you make of all of this? Looks like something else is happening over here. Okay, then we're going to zoom in on that one scene that we were looking at west with that artificial cloud where I said it looked like there was craft propped on the top of the profile. And then look at this off to the left. Now this actually is a part of the images that were on the cover of the previous show, and a couple snuck in here. So this to the left was actually on the cover where we had this rim that I was just calling a skiff because it looked like the open area of the bow of a boat. But now look what's popping up on it. Really a regularized pattern with dimension to it. So let's keep looking. With enhancement, you can really see these things. So what is this whole thing? Is this whole thing a craft, you know, cloaking, and we see the bow popping up out of it? I think so. Otherwise, I really don't know how we can get a straight edge forming this. You know, these things happening in here, it's just all really, truly bizarre. Then, speaking of bizarre, this little thing is on its own in the southwest. This little thing, really low in the sky, all by its lonesome. What's going on? So we look at it with enhancement, and here we go. It still is. We got a vertical piece, like a stick-like thing, and another piece down here. So that can't even be a natural cloud. No way. And then we see something doing its own thing over at B that has kind of the same color signature. So these, to me, are two objects. That's all I'm going to say. There's also more going on. That looks like there could be something happening up in here. But with my camera, this is all I could get at. Okay, now we're going to look southeast, and this element looks very different than what's happening with this wavy thing going on down here and what's happening with this really weird misty and falling apart, artificial looking mist at the top. So we look with enhancement, and lo and behold, we get very different color signatures anyway between what's happening up here and here. Here, this looks like a round form at B.1 with weird little holes in it. A.1, this could be an overall craft with like a little deck on top and something weird happening here. We have like a stick with like an arrowhead on the end of it. So is this an independent triangular craft that like zoomed in and it's docking to this thing? Or, is this like some weird anchor or probing thing? I don't know what's going on there. You see what you think. Here's a weird scene looking north-northwest. All of these are like on angle parallel to each other. They're extremely low in altitude, extremely low. And they're weird little pieces floating off from the tops of these things. So let's see what's going on. A.1, we get a distinct shape and another triangle here. These two things look like they are elements popping off of this thing. So these are not holes, and we're looking to the backlit, portion. These are actually things popping off of here. So I think those are machine parts and pieces associated with a cloaking craft on angle. Even this looks like they're docking together. It's just so strange. Let's look a little bit more. So we're going to zoom in on that A element just to look at it better, and the B element here. These things look like they just flew out of this like cloud material, quote-unquote cloud material. We got little peaks here. Those don't happen in a natural cumulus cloud. They have a triangular form, triangular form, triangular form. That's all I'm going to say. Keep looking on your own time. You're going to find so much more the more you look at these photos. And then let's look to the right at the enhanced version. Again, this is not looking back, into like a hole in the cloud. This is an object popping up out of it. So we have shadow and we have a little vapor trail. And I don't know what these things are doing. But again, there's some shadow happening in here as well. Weird things happening down under here. Just again, the more you look, the more you're going to find. And what the heck is going on anyway? This is going up on angle. This is a chunk like doing its own thing. And this is extremely vertical, this piece here. Just none of this is a natural, cloud, at least none that I know from living decades on the planet. And speaking of not natural, here we go. Look at the right-hand side. These are, kind of echoings of what the cover slide is, little versions of it. So we get this weird thing kind of twisting and morphing and like kind of like blooming out like a flower or leaf pattern. Get a weird thing happening up here. It looks like a triangular form in there. This whole thing looks like a cloaking craft, like a pointed ellipse. It even has like some vapor stuff happening beyond it. This looks like another craft popping up out of here with one prong and another prong. They're both parallel, like the ends of knife blades. Really weird. Let's keep looking. So we're going to look to the right of that overall assembly. We get this weird thing coming off. Let's look to the right. You see that? That's nothing like this character of this thing. Weird little elements popping off here. C gets interesting. We're going to look at that in a minute. And, look at the red-pink signature popping up again. So we're going to look at C. We start to see some little stick-like thing popping out and running through it. So we look at it with enhancement. Look at this. This has to be a craft. We see little white bits that may be reflecting off, and then with light. And this whole thing looks like one long stick running through it. So I'm going to call that cloak and craft for sure. Okay, then we get to the alternate covered slide. Just saw this really. This is without enhancement. This red, pink, deep glow. We got parallel lines here. It looks like little things are tucked in the profile of the clouds. This overall thing looks triangular. So we go to this scene and we see things that look like they have mass to them hiding in here. I don't know what these two streaks are. But they don't look natural. And this whole thing is pitching downward. So actually, see this dark body and see this straight line? I think this is like the hull of a ship, and that's the bow. And I know I keep saying ships, but that's what I see. And then this looks like the command deck or, maybe some kind of turret. Very interesting. See what you think. All right, we're going to go back to our little weird anomaly cloud here. Artificial for sure, whatever's generating and happening in there. Look how fuzzy it's starting to look. So I'm saying that's a telltale sign of cloak and craft when things start to get, fuzzy. What's going on here? It's looking pretty crisp and clear and strange. Maybe these two are related. Lots of weird stuff happening down here. And we'll get down to that corner a little bit more. Look at the right. So these look like two triangles that are zooming off this way, two little triangles zooming off that way. Is this little thing coming down out of the cloud or going back up into it? Well, it's different, has a different color signature, so it's something. And this looks like cloak and craft triangular form. Another little weird form here, another little weird form here. See what you think, though. Now we're going to look at E on this thing on the left-hand side of this like towering thing. D is looking really weird, and so is E, so let's keep looking. E, look at this. To the right, that has to be a cloak and craft. It's a distinct shape. It has a symmetry, and it's like a darker, denser material than the stuff wafting around it. So I'm calling that cloak and craft. Then we get to this scene, north-northwest we're looking, and we just see these weird movements, these gray tracings, you know, strange movement, and weird color, and little white highlights in the middle of it all. So with enhancement, this is what we get. This looks like a triangular form. This looks like another form sitting on something, or it's all part of one thing. I don't know, but you got to admit that's pretty strange looking. And D.1 looks like its own thing, standalone thing, as does E.1. At A, it looks like a triangle with something kind of interfacing with it. All right, this gets weird. We've got this like overall arching form, but how this whole thing is like coming together. Got a standalone thing at A. We got something popping up here. Again, that's not anything backlighting. That's object in front. And we look at it with enhancement, and here we go. Darker shape with stuff wafting over it. Hang on 1 second again. Okay, I'm back. So we get these triangular things hanging on the top here. What that is poking up out of here, I don't know, but it's very interesting. Or if it's like a sensor flying in front of this thing, perhaps. Weird things are going on at D.1. Again, look at this more in your own time. See what you find in there. All right, well, this is the photo of the day and the close of the show. It's a reflection of the quote-unquote second sun in a puddle reflecting in Miami, Florida. And the second sun phenomenon, I invite you to look at previous shows that I've had and also other Earth and Sky watching channels, because it basically is showing you would never see the sun, the true sun, as a perfect circle in front of another illuminating body. So whether that is artificial or something celestial, I'm not sure about that. But do some digging and see what you see, can find, and what you believe is going on in the sky these days with our sun. Something isn't right, that's all I'm going to say. And do look at my other shows. I tell you in more detail why I think that. Anyway, thank you so much for reflecting on things here a while. I wish you all the best for a gorgeous day, gorgeous right now, gorgeous evening, and all the best and tremendous peace and love. Lavender Sky Panther, bye.